Alright, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Alex and this is the iSuck podcast.
Oh yeah.
Today we have another guest. Jedd, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, how
a
you
little
feeling?
intimidating.
Yeah, how you feeling about this? There's a camera in my room.
There's just a tripod in front of a double bed with two men on it, so you can get the vibes I'm getting.
I'm glad we're men and not boys.
Yes, men. We are officially that now. I feel good. I've done my research.
You've done your research.
I've watched the show. I've also watched an hour of a Big Cats documentary. So I'm good to go.
Oh, happy memories, eh?
Yeah?
This is episode 5, dude.
5.
I can't believe I actually made 5.
I'm sure you've got a steady following now. Then.
Oh,
yeah.
people I know, yeah.
Yeah. You've got a few views, I saw. You're doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing alright. I mean,
You got a comment from a Sepulture, whoever that is. Best podcast ever.
That was Scott.
Oh. Alright, well.
Anyway, what are we talking about this episode, dude?
I believe we said writing,
Yeah,
but I'm sure from that, anything at all.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Alright.
The writer's room, we'll call it.
Dude, so how much writing you actually done? Like, in terms of what kind of, like, writing?
I
Short
write
stories, scripts?
Absolute crap, but a lot of it. You know what? How it started was I wrote a comic for a friend that was The Walking Dead UK. If you can believe it.
Oh god.
I say for a friend, it's more with a friend. It wasn't
yeah.
like I was commissioned to do this. You know.
When was this?
This was when I was in secondary, year 9 through to 11, bit in college. I enjoyed it though, because it's something that just doesn't exist. The only kind of zombie UK stuff you might have seen is like, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
And 28 days, yeah. But not like a series, not like a serial kind of thing.
Yeah, I love it when like shows have episodes based in England.
Yeah.
Like, I live there, I can relate to this more.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like, when the Friends went to London.
Yeah.
It's like that classic feeling of like, look how lost they are and how they're taking the piss out of
fucking
us.
foreigners.
Yeah.
I remember, Judge Dredd?
Uh-huh.
They have like the city in the UK.
Oh,
like
yeah?
Brit Sit. And it's
Right.
like the entire like bottom coast of England from
Oh,
Cornwall
okay.
to Dover is a massive city.
Wow.
Yeah, and
So
I,
that's pretty dystopian then.
but it's hardly in any of the comics. So I had to like research into what this.
I
thing
reckon
was.
that's the future of this actual country. That could be quite prophetical. Is that a word?
It's prophetical.
Prophetical?
To be honest, I wouldn't mind that. To be honest,
What? Cornwall up to London
Like-
being one big city.
I kind of want Cornwall to be like.
I'll tell you who will mind it: the Cornish.
The Cornish fucking hate us
Yeah.
anyway.
So get them on board. Good luck. But no, you're a big fan of like Britain in like film and media, because I remember
love
how
it.
excited you were about how much Rhyme City from Detective Pikachu was clearly all London.
Yeah. I
You
just
were very into that. I remember.
I love seeing things I'm familiar with.
Yeah,
Because
it's
in the
nice.
in the trailer, I recognized some of the the filming locations.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I was
recognised
there
a
the other
few.
week.
Yeah,
It's just like.
I mean, we're from the
anything
same-ish neck of the woods, so we kind of get it.
Sid Maurice.
And Dom, I'm much more familiar
Dom,
with where he's from.
previous episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
also
from the next town over to me, and might I say, I reckon he thinks I live in absolute squalor compared to Brentwood, because my god, I go to every Christmas Eve for midnight mass, and I meet up with my head of year from secondary school. Just goes there. Don't like the guy. See him a lot though. But yeah, Brentwood is just not religious, you know that.
Ah, okay.
I go because they, you get free cookies and it's a nice evening out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I used to do the same when I was in Scouts.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I went way off. How much writing have I done?
Yeah. That went off track.
Yeah, I was way off. A fair bit. A fair bit. Yeah.
Is it mainly in the comics then? Or
It's
just,
no.
did you
The
branch
comics
out?
that started, but I'm my main interest. I'm on animation with you.
Mhm.
No, my main interest is screenwriting stuff that would be on a screen. Hopefully one day. The thing I've written most recently, and I'm still on it because I'm just kind of. It's one of those. You probably might do the same, where you just open up a document and you're like, I'm writing an idea that I had.
Yeah,
And you'll come back to
I'm
it.
constantly doing that.
Yeah.
Like
come
just
back to
writing
it.
little short stories or like just little thumbnails of what the story could be. And
Yeah.
I'll come back to it later and like try and flesh it out.
I'm doing that all the time. Coming back to this one document and being like, I like this world and this character, but I want it to be bigger and better.
Mhm.
And right now, I'm wiping this thing. I'm writing. You're gonna know why I made that Freudian slip in a sec. I'm writing this thing that I've dubbed arsewipe.
Arsewipe.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the
classy.
reason is that I'm gonna little elevator pitch maybe. which,
Okay, right.
the
So
last
sell it
thing-
to me. Sell it.
The last thing I want to do after recent events is another pitch, but let's do it.
Okay.
Basically, it's a dude
Mm-hmm.
in suburban London, or just it doesn't really matter, and he is a full-time carer for an elderly man who is a neighbor a few doors down his street.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he's cleaning and he discovers it's all fictitious.
Okay.
So what he discovers is a case file for, in this universe, what is actually a really infamous murder case in the country. Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Fictitiously written because, you know, I'm not going to go writing about the Moors murders or anything. I don't know enough about it. But it's a fictitious, infamous murder in this fictitious universe that he's super interested in. So it's set up that he is super... Because, you know, people like this exist. People who are, like, morbidly curious.
I think a lot of people are.
Because that's...
I think a lot of people are more curious than they like to admit.
Yeah, but morbid curiosity is something that super interests me because everybody is morbidly curious. It's the degree at which they'll confess that they are. So with me, I'll confess to being pretty morbidly curious. Matt, Matt is a friend of ours.
Hopefully we'll come on in the future.
Yeah, maybe Matt, you'll see him. But he showed me... Let's not go too deeply into this, but you know about Reddit 50/50.
Oh, God,
That is your textbook morbid curiosity hub.
If you don't know what that is, it's basically a 50/50 where you're going to get a good, really nice thing.
It'll say something like adorable kittens or man getting beheaded by ISIS.
Yes.
And you roll the dice.
You roll the dice and you see which one you get.
It's a fun evening if you're drunk and gross.
And you don't get like disturbed by like gross shit.
But you know, it depends. The gross things that you see on there can really, you know, fluctuate. For me, the grossest thing I saw was a picture of a tumor that had grown teeth. Real bad.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. That's fucked up.
It's fucked up. And it makes sense scientifically because obviously what a tumor is just rampant growth of the cells that are already in you.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can grow hair, they can grow teeth.
That's terrible.
I imagine they can grow kind of nail enamel. I don't know.
Ooh.
But basically this character is morbidly curious, and so he knows all about this case and likes to think of himself as a bit of a stay-at-home detective himself.
Okay.
Super excited when he finds that this old man he's a carer for was a detective on that case. And the two, basically, it gets a bit Breaking Bad, a bit Fargo, they start working together on the case.
How old is this man?
This man is about our age. He's a young man.
Okay.
The older man is obviously 70s or 80s. He's got on.
If he's got a carer, I assume he's like...
He's got a full-time carer.
So
and the reason
like
it's called...
or something like that?
No, he's not wheelchair bound, but he's like... I don't know if you've seen EastEnders, but Dot's husband.
Oh, I've never seen EastEnders.
Okay, so Dot's husband, he wasn't wheelchair bound, but he was old.
He was old,
He was a fossil.
Just takes him like a while to get places.
Yeah, a lot of things he just needed help doing.
Okay,
and the reason it's called Arsewipe is that's one of the things he needs help doing. Yeah, so he does that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but basically it goes a bit wacky, gets a bit dark. The character who's the older gent, who's the the ex-detective, doesn't really want to dive into this case. It's a dark area of his past that he kind of has deliberately buried under the pantry. It's been accidentally dug back up by his full-time carer, who he's fond of. He likes his carer and he's friends with him, but the last thing he wants to do is go back in and
go back into that world,
tear all those files out and start looking at it again. And what's nice is this is something I quite like doing when I write is plant a seed, and what I planted in this is a puzzle that's on. A lot of the writing with this character and with the world that they live in is based around my relationship with my nan, because
so you got a case file.
No, my nan was never a detective. Certainly never solved any infamous murder cases in the UK. Loves puzzles though, and that's the seed that I wanted to plant, because it's like this character, this older dude, every time and every shot we see him, he's working on this little puzzle, little jigsaw that he's got out on the dining room table. And so on some subconscious level, even without being told explicitly or even really shown explicitly, that this guy loves a puzzle. So whether or not he wants to dig this far back up or not, instinctively it's something he's good at and wants to do. And so yeah, I just like doing that. And what happens, kind of a spoiler, but it's not like it's on TV, so don't worry, is basically his son, or his son-in-law kind of thing. He comes around and he realizes that he's back on working on his case. This like 8-year-old man with his full-time carer, a bit of an eclectic duo, a bit odd. This son-in-law character comes around and is like, why are you working on this? Like, this is nuts. You buried this deliberately. You shouldn't be coming back to this.
Yeah.
Friend of his who's a full-time carer, morbidly curious and a bit nuts, eventually ends up killing the son-in-law. He gets so obsessed, and that's the story I like telling.
Shit.
A
So
story
it's
of
like you
just pure
twist it a
obsession.
bit. You think he's the hero, and then
You think here he is, he wants to solve a murder case, and he's causing more harm than good.
Yeah.
Because he's getting more and more obsessed. And what it is I've
that kind of reminds me of
planted
Misery.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
and it's a lot like if you've watched the Noah Hawley's Fargo on TV. It's a lot like that, where characters just trying their best, they mean no harm, cause it anyway, and lots of it. Yeah, stuff like that I really like writing.
Yeah, that shit's super interesting. I love like being able to set things up and then like you give the audience an idea of what it's gonna be, but then completely like
Totally turn it
around, and you're like, and when they look back at it, and they're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, definitely. And with this, it's like what I love about it is that or what I imagine is that you'd be watching it and you'd be thinking this is going somewhere, and then that scene happens where he kills the son-in-law, and he does it. And also, there's a really dark bit that I wrote that I'm kind of toying with it. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. You can let me know.
Okay.
Is that I'm toying with the idea of this guy whose name's Irv, the older dude, having these bouts of dementia. Because it's almost like a cool writing tool, actually, so that he forgets kind of how bad this main character is getting. So you've got James as the young guy, you've got Irv as the old guy, and he's having these bouts of dementia. And he's getting more and more obsessed with this case, and where Irv has kind of done it, and he doesn't think it's even solvable. It was never solved back then. It's not going to get solved now.
Yeah.
Half the people involved in the case are long dead, if they even know who they are. He doesn't want to know about it, and the dementia is this kind of physical tool that's showing the audience that it's like he's literally forgetting it, and he's also forgetting just how nuts and into it James is getting.
Yeah, that would be a fun, like, because that means the main character can kind of like it's like they're kind of a puppet master.
Yeah,
in a sense.
yeah, and they become a sort of a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like stuff like that where the relationship is a complex and you don't really know where you stand with them.
Yeah. So
It's classic Breaking
you
Bad.
You like the character, but he keeps on doing messed up shit.
Yeah,
And you're like, you want to support him, but you know he's fucking mental.
It's such a classic kind of Walter White, Willy won't he? Do I love him? Do I hate him? Thing.
Oh yeah, I've been
into.
I've been watching that recently, and I'm just so like, mate, I want to like you so bad.
Yeah, I'm trying
but
real hard.
You keep fucking.
You gotta throw me a bone here. You gotta come on, poisoning kids and this and that. Come on, it's not good.
I could totally see that as a show though.
Yeah, I hope so. One day, I'm gonna keep going back to it. Where I get most of my ideas is music. And where I listen to most of my music is the stupid 9-hour coach trips that I do to go home every Christmas.
Oh yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah, so it all comes to me then. And I remember coming back from a coach trip for the summer, came into my house then. I was living with Matt and Louis and Kenny as well.
Oh, call back
yeah, I'm just dropping names left and right. Living with those guys, and I came back and I was like, I just had the sickest idea for like a TV show, and I just remember just sitting with them and talking to them about it. I was just really excited and infused about it, and it's crazy because I just come off a 9-hour coach. I'm sweating, I'm gross, haven't really eaten, haven't really showered, and all I'm talking about is like this kid who's like he wants to solve this awful murder rape case with this old man that he doesn't know, and it's like what are you talking about, Jedd?
It's weird. It's weird how like involved you can get into like your own stories when you're developing them.
You get very attached.
I get very into it when I start developing stuff.
Because what I do as well is if you're writing and listening to music, I sort of do this thing where I imagine like whatever's come on Spotify as I'm writing away. I'm like, oh, imagine this was like the end credit sequence to an episode I just wrote, and then I think like, oh well, what's this music saying and what's it? You know what I mean? That's kind of stuff I love a lot because like I don't know if you've watched it, but what's the show? Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of Rick and Morty. But they do this, and even BoJack Horseman as well does it. But, they're like adult animation where they get a bit dark and get a bit rough and serious. And what I love is these like musical ending interludes they do, where it just leaves you kind of on this like Mazzy Star ending, and you're like, now I'm just uber depressed, and all you want to do is think about the episode.
BoJack does that the most. I feel
BoJack does that a lot. I got into an artist from BoJack actually, Courtney Barnett.
I don't know because I get a lot of artists.
She did the ending song where the runner comes up to BoJack and it's like, it gets easier, don't worry, you gotta get up, you gotta keep doing it, it gets easier, and then that song's playing. That's Courtney Barnett, and she does this really nice stuff where it's so like, I think she's Australian or from New Zealand. She's got that kind of accent. I haven't placed it, but she's one of those kind of musicians that just talks. But I love that a lot, and it's like it's so, and what she's talking about is so like just telling a really linear story.
Yeah, it's kind of like takes you along with the story. Like she's telling a narrative, but you kind of make that up in your head.
Yeah, and you can relate it to so many things, which is why it's, I think, using songs in TV shows and film is so nice.
Yeah,
especially
when I'm listening to music, I can see it fit into different shows.
If it be a montage or just like the ending to an episode or to a film.
Mm-hmm.
I recently watched the Breaking Bad movie El Camino.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. But
oh god,
be vague with it. Be vague.
All I'll say is it's not even about the story. It's the ending song, which is I love a lot. So when you do get around to watching it, tell me what you think about the ending song to the credits, because it's so nice. It's Amy Mann, if you know Amy Mann.
Oh, it sounds familiar. I can't
Amy Mann is in the kind of family of she's kind of like up there with Mazzy Star, kind of a bit. Mellow rock. I'm bad.
I do love mellow rock.
Yeah, so it's weird. It's Amy Mann, very cool. I think you'd recognize her voice if you've seen the film Magnolia. She did that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh fuck, fair enough.
She's great.
Like it seems like you're pretty invested in this story.
Yeah, I am. And I write other stuff too, but that just seems to be the one that currently I'm like dipping in and out back.
Are you writing it as like a screenplay, or are you writing it?
I'm writing
it
just as a story.
And then do you reckon you would develop it if you had time?
Yeah, if I had this sudden burst of faith in it, and obviously it would have to be after uni, because this is the whole animal in of itself, and I'm directing. So, but post uni, I would love to sit down and take whatever exists of Arsewipe and turn it into like a usable screenplay, which is something that uni has made me able to do.
No, I totally feel that, dude. I've been developing like scripts and stuff for a while now.
Yeah,
I've been doing it since college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I originally, my first script I wrote was for a show called Hollow Ghosts.
Hollow Ghosts.
It's like because I was a lot into like cartoons at that point in my life.
Yeah.
And it's about like two kids that are on a plane across America to go to a new school because they had to transfer for some reason.
Okay.
But like as they go over, like a shift in reality happens and they land in a different universe, and they don't realize until they get to their house. So basically the end story is like two people from their universe switch with them in that universe, so like they have like parallel narratives.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And like the parallel one's real fucked up. And then the fucked up guys that move from that universe to the regular ones are just like don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's really cool. I like stuff like that. I like weird, trippy, university stuff.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse is great.
100%.
Something that a little sort of writing baby of mine that I've always jumped back to every now and then. And I pitched it in second year, but it was just the characters. It wasn't the version of it that existed way back when I birthed it in my little fucked up head. It's called Remy and Brant, which is like a terrible pun on Rembrandt. And what they're two art students who hate art. They've been like made, like sort of in I forget what year it would have been in school, but in year 9, I think you would have been made to do, at least where I went to school, you were made to do art. Except you were made
year 9.
You were made to do art from year 7 straight through to year 9, and it was only at year 9 that you could drop it.
Yeah, I mean,
unless
like
you carried it on.
For me, for my school, it was like year 7 and 8.
Yeah,
you had to do it. And then year 9, 10, 11, you choose like specific classes.
Yeah.
And then you could choose art.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, so that's what I meant. At year 9, you choose your 3 GCSE subjects that you are added to your rate, the ones that you have to do anyway. So your maths, your English, your science, and then you're like, oh, but I'm also doing art or history or this. Anyway, these kids, they're what, year 7 or 8, whatever, haven't got to year 9 yet, where they are able to drop art. But basically they hate it and they want out, and the whole show is them trying to get kicked off of art. And basically they're called Remy and Brant, and the whole joke is that they're these like born artists. They're like the next Emming and Warhol.
Yeah, they're insane.
But they hate art, and like their teachers are like pushing them and like, you don't realize what you could be. You could be the next, like, you could be so good, but you just hate it. And it kind
of reminds me of fucking Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, it's like that. I love that film a lot, so maybe that was a subconscious influence actually.
That's pretty. I had a similar kind of idea for a show, but based in university.
Oh, okay.
You may have heard me talk about this previously.
Maybe.
But it's called Halls.
No.
And it's literally...
But even the name has gripped me, because of someone who's lived on halls. You can make a show on halls easy.
It's basically kind of like a mix of it's like Community but more grounded in reality. So it's more relatable. They actually go through like
there's no pillow forts.
There's no pillow forts. Yeah. But it's like they go through shit students actually go through. So like homesickness and like cramming in cramming work at the last minute, and like but they also have like freshers events and they all get pissed one episode. It's just like them trying to like be friends, but they fucking hate each other or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's such a I
feel like it's
flawless setup.
I feel like it's one of those things that's not like hasn't been done right yet.
There's something that I watched. There's a British show called Campus, but it's really weird. In fact, you know who worked on Campus? James Henry.
Really?
Yeah, James Henry did some writing for Campus.
Damn.
Which, if you watch Campus and if you've seen Green Wing, which is the large crux of his work, then you can tell. Like, Campus it's based on like a British university. And obviously the big British university thing that people kind of know and get behind is that Fresh Meat one. Have you seen Fresh Meat?
I've seen Fresh Meat.
Yeah.
I wasn't huge on Fresh Meat, to be honest.
No, Fresh Meat is weird. And it hasn't been my experience of university really either.
I feel like that's the thing. A lot of shows that are based around university are very unrealistic representations of university. Yeah,
they're either unrealistic representations or they're representations of somebody's very specific uni experience that isn't everybody else's. Which is natural, it's going to vary. I mean, where we go to uni might be quite weird. Which,
very true.
It's in a weird part of the country, so it very well could be a weird university.
Because I feel like there's a lot of topics you can deal with. But still keep it kind of grounded.
Yeah.
Because I had a 28 days later episode idea where basically one of them has a hangover really bad, but wakes up on a Sunday but finishes it on Monday, and goes or walks the campus but doesn't see a soul because he's up at 9 a.m. on a Sunday
Shaun
morning.
of the Dead montage beginning. Yeah,
and he goes into the campus. He goes into the building and it's completely empty. But one of the person who's cramming getting work done is still there and starts fucking with him as he's walking around campus with no one there.
Oh my god, I can see it. It works, man. It's a really good setup. Because someone who's we've both lived on halls and it is stupid and crazy and weird. You live with 4 or 5 strangers who slowly become not strangers.
Especially the initial moments when you first meet them. It's very weird.
It's this weird thing of I remember introducing myself to my flatmates in this kind of I'm probably not going to see much of you way. The way you would introduce yourself to someone at a party or where you don't think you'll see him again. And I introduced myself to my flatmates in much the same way, except I was going to see him again. I was going to live with them for a year, but it just hadn't hit me yet. Because I was just still unpacking. My parents were still there. It wasn't quite real.
Yeah. I was one of the first people to move into my flat.
Oh, okay.
So I
got had to wait scared.
I had to fucking wait about till because Scott, my old roommate, was the last person to move in. So I had to wait and see everyone else move in, and then the last person I had to fucking anticipate who I was gonna be living with for a year.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I had a bit of that because I met with 3 girls, and I was like, okay, 3 girls so far, and me. There's one more. I know there's one more coming, so I was just waiting for that last one. And it sounds bad, but I was hoping it would be a guy. Yeah. Because you just do. You're like...
Wait, were you the only guy in your house?
Luckily, the last guy to come was a guy.
Okay, good.
What ended up happening, though, is that I saw so little of him because his girlfriend moved in.
He moved in? Is that allowed?
Probably not, but yeah. She unofficially came in and was there a lot.
Yeah.
Her name was Georgina. She was great. No problems with her, but it's just I didn't see... if I didn't see much of him, I saw her in equal measure. So it was still I live with 4 girls and a guy.
Okay.
Essentially. It was alright though, I liked them a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be difficult though, because it's there's only so much you can talk about with girls, I feel like.
Yeah, there is an experiential gap there that is kind of natural, and it's perfectly fine.
No, it's fine. It's just I feel like it'll take a bit longer.
Yeah, definitely.
So get to that level where you can just you can talk about anything.
Yeah, the jib jab, the banter is different between a guy and a girl. But now I'm in a house of 3 girls, and it is different. And especially coming from Dunstan.
Oh yeah, you went from living with basically girls to living with guys to back to girls.
So right back to girls, yeah. Yeah, so I've got my experience in both. My experience with living, because also you live with all guys,
Yeah,
four
yeah.
guys, which I've done last year.
I did. I'm doing it this year and last year.
Yeah. So my experience of living with four guys was very yeah, it was good, but it was one of those things where you're living with your friends though.
Yes.
But with me, it was like living with your friends is a thing that you realize what it is when it's there, kind of thing. And I loved it. I loved Dunstan every minute of it. But it was just sort of four guys, and it was messy. Which
it feels Dunstan always felt very chaotic.
It was a bit chaotic, yeah.
It's like when I was there, it felt controlled, but I feel like out of hand.
Yeah, because we were hosting guests. Yes, but you know, in its regular upkeep, it was pretty all over the shop.
That's why I got pretty lucky. Like both me, Jack, and Greg last year were all. You know Greg, you don't know Jack.
No, you might know Jack, maybe.
Oh, he might come on, hopefully.
Yeah, one day.
But yeah, we were all pretty clean guys, and we like all did our part to like make sure the flat wasn't.
Jack, I know, is very clean. Yeah, I can vouch for that.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad though.
Yeah, no, same here. I mean, our house at the minute is it's nice. It's in a bit of disrepair, but that's because I'm the only one in it for the weekend.
Oh so. Yeah, that's gotta be weird. Where's everyone else? Oh,
they're all up in Birmingham at a film festival.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so they directed Big Feet last year. Stop motion movie about a Yeti.
A Yeti, yeah. And
who wants to meet a Sasquatch. It's quite a cute idea.
It's cute, but then Laika did it.
Laika did do it.
Laika did do it.
We're iffy on who did it first, but they similar ideas.
but yeah, like looping back to talking about like I'm currently in like the character developing like phase of this.
Oh, of this Halls idea.
Yeah, of the Halls idea. I got.
Are they all based off us by any chance?
I'm basing your experience off of what.
What you know. They do say.
Yeah, but like if I was to like pitch this and make it a show, I'd probably get in contact with other people who've been to university and get their experience.
Yeah, get a ballpark experience because we've got an experience of this university.
Yeah.
But like I say, it could be a weird one. I think it might be a weird one.
Well, our university's pretty weird. It's because it's a mix of
like a lot of subjects.
A lot of subjects. It's mainly like either science or art.
Yeah, well, it's because when you meet someone at a party or at halls, you know, based on if you ask them, are you fan for Exeter? Because obviously the context here is that our university is joint with Exeter. Yeah,
we have two universities that like share the same campus.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird.
Yeah, but essentially, we share the same campus. But if you are a film student, people know immediately you do art, you do graphics, illustration, film, animation. If you're on Exeter, you're history or something that's going to get you a job, basically.
You're more likely to be hired.
You're on the humanities side of things. I think
you're guaranteed to make more money than the people on the other side of the campus.
Yeah, so there is a cultural divide. Not a cultural divide. That's a weird way of putting it. There's a divide between the two. It's like a.
Because I rarely talk to any of the Exeter.
Yeah,
I don't know any Exeter.
The only Exeter person I kind of know is my housemate Lucy, who does English Lit. But English Lit is like, you know.
She lived with
Elena last year. Lived with. God, there was 8 of them in that house.
8?
8 of them.
Absolutely.
It was an old converted B&B though, so it worked.
Yeah, I mean, really it was a massive house. It felt very weird though.
It was very Shining-esque. The carpet was gross. There was a mold problem, but then that's every house here.
Everywhere here has a mold problem. That's just a general issue.
It had a basement level kitchen and living room.
That's what weirded me out the most.
With a general musk to it.
But like you had to go downstairs to go to the living, and the space, and you had that weird empty room. Like,
that was supposed to be a dining room that had one window that was basically just one of those London-esque terrace house.
It's weird.
Surface kind of looking up at people's feet as they walk by windows.
Yeah, dude, it's
really bad.
Fucking odd. I don't like that.
Yeah, not a fan of that house.
I mean, you don't live there now, so it's not a big an issue.
No, but you know what annoyed them is that someone went round there to pick up a package that accidentally went there.
Yeah.
Got asked to come in just because, I used to live here, can I see the place? Letting them in. Kitchen has been done up. Kitchen is beautiful. He's going. He's leaving.
Wait, it's been done up now?
It's done up. Yeah, back in the room.
Oh my god.
Well, it's just beautiful. Like, and obviously, I don't know if you saw the kitchen last time. It was an absolute pigsty.
Oh yeah, it was a fucking tip.
They had like a washing machine that like didn't work. The dryer was like moldy as fuck. Everything was just gross. And now it looks like an IKEA showroom in there.
Oh, that's what happened to us.
Yeah, they do it up when you leave.
You do it up when you leave.
Yeah.
Basically, no one wanted our old place.
Yeah, I
it
can
was
imagine.
so shit.
I heard about all that stuff with
going
your
on.
landlord.
Oh,
Her
yeah,
coming
don't
around there and
She left a baby with me, dude.
What?
Yeah, don't you know about that?
That's like a
I
film idea.
I was in the kitchen,
right,
like making a cuppa, and she comes in to sort out our.
Can I leave my baby with
She didn't
you?
ask. She didn't ask me. She has left it on the floor in the living room, and I didn't feel like I could leave.
Where had she gone?
She went into the bathroom and like shut the door so she could fiddle with our washing machine.
That is frightening.
And like I didn't know what to do because I couldn't leave the baby there on his own.
No, I had it in my mind she left the apartment. She came in, left this baby, and went out.
I'd be furious if she left.
I mean, that's called a police territory.
Yeah. That baby should have been taken away.
Definitely.
Oh, but no, that was a fucking mess, that old place.
Yeah, it's cozy. You can cram all those people to it on bonfire night. So,
that was a fun night.
It was like a TARDIS in there.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I feel like we're doing the same for this. They'll probably end up like that. This
place is bigger.
It's bigger, it's more spacious, but the thing is we don't have a living room.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, your living room last year was still the size of, the kitchen living room combo was still the size of like an average kitchen.
Yeah, true. But we had like sofas and stuff like that.
Yeah, you had a TV and a sofa. It was nice.
So it actually felt like a house rather than just a kitchen with a sofa.
It's a nice thing about this year is having a living room.
Mm-hmm.
Being a student is weird because you go from halls where, your communal space is a kitchen to perhaps having a living room and suddenly feeling like you're in a house with like a family, and it's like weird. I don't know if you walk around and you look in the windows at night, like when the lights are on, and that sounds weird, looking in the windows at
just
night.
Peeking in.
Just looking in people's homes as they live their lives.
Their houses.
And I do that just like as I walk by, and I've like got my headphones on walking home, and I'm like, everyone here is students. And I'd never look into a window, and it's just like a mum and a dad and a kid, like a nuclear Simpsons family setup.
You definitely got to find them. It's very weird. It's very student town.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder the
locals hate us.
Yeah, no wonder.
I mean, like in this area I'm in right now.
Yeah.
There's a house over there, a house over there, a house up there, and a house over there, like all bungalows. And one house is not student.
Wow.
So that house over there.
I see them. Yeah, I see them walking up. They're a bunch of lads, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's very like odd experience, just being surrounded by students but not talking to any of them. Like,
yeah.
Seeing anyone else.
You're all in the same boat, but also miles apart.
Wildly different.
Yeah. It was weird last year having a husband and wife with two young kids as your neighbours, because you had to text them and be like, "We're having a party," and anxiously wait for them to text back and be like, "No, you're not. My baby,
my baby,
my baby will not like this." And I'm like, "Yes." Yeah. No, we got on really well with our neighbours. After
always good.
After the initial noise complaint.
I mean, like our neighbours were like characters, like you would expect in a show. Like across the hall, we had a guy that was constantly smoking weed.
Yeah, there was a constant smell.
And was kind of like he was trying to get us to like because they were building student flats across the road from us, and he kept on like messing with their locks and like graffitiing on their thing to stop them from like doing construction.
Weird.
And he tried to get Jack into doing like some of the the illegal shit, and we were like, what? So we had that guy across from us. Above us, we had a couple, I think they were a married couple, but they were constantly arguing.
Oh god!
So we would hear like them yelling constantly, like daily, above us, and we didn't know whether to call the police or not.
Oh god!
And like the last room was an elderly lady, which I never saw, but only saw silhouettes at night through the window.
Just hunchback with a walking stick.
It really was. It was just like
so
a silhouette, and I was like, "What the fuck is this apartment block?"
That's the people watching though. People watching and people listening is fun. I do a lot of people watching on my travels because I do a lot of. Well, I say traveling like I'm exploring the world. I mean between two places ever. Yeah. Which is here and home.
Yeah, pretty much. I did a lot on the train.
Yeah, 9 hours each way, so I call it traveling. I've earned the right to call it traveling.
I don't take the bus home anymore. I can't.
Did you get train?
I get train.
Oh, okay.
It's just like 10, 15 quid more.
Yeah,
and it's like a lot comfier journey, and like knocks like 4 hours.
You
off.
can get it does knock a lot of time off. Yeah, you can get train just as cheap as you would a coach if you get it in advance enough.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But yeah, people watching is at least one part of it that's fun, and people meeting. You always get that one guy or woman who sits down next to you on the coach, and you're just praying that they're not nuts. You're just praying that they're not nuts because eventually
100%.
something's gonna happen that's gonna give. and they're going to be like, this person is insane. I'm now sat next to an insane person.
For like fucking 9 hours.
And I remember once my experience was that this guy sat next to me, and he had this really potent stench, and I can only describe it as cigarettes and like carrot cake.
Carrot cake?
It was
That's oddly specific.
Those two really precise aromas were coming off of him, and I was like not into it. And I could tell that he was smoking up like a mad person, because we had 2 breaks. We had 2 comfort breaks.
Okay.
And then we also had a few mini breaks where we were stopping, say at Reading or say there or Exeter, and they would get off for like a few minutes. And every given opportunity, he would get off the bus, and I was praying he wouldn't get back on, but of course he always did. And I could just look at him through the window. I could see him, and he spent every waking second and minute of every given break that he got smoking. That's fucking great. And he would throw it away instantly and come back in. It was like he was refueling. It was like he was like, I need to smell as potently of cigarettes as possible for my seat buddy when I come back in.
Fuck that. No, it's like that's why I don't take the bus anymore. Because no, it's just like
it's gone to sleep.
Yeah, that's why I don't take the bus anymore, because you're crammed in with someone you don't know.
Yeah.
For a long fucking journey.
Yeah.
And like the risk of being next to a madman is way too much.
I remember once I went to the coach station and I bumped into Greg going home.
Really?
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
And he was sat down. And I was like, "Oh shit, you're going home?" He's like, "Yeah." And we compared tickets, and we thought we were on the same coach. And then he was like, "Oh, I'll sit next to you then." I was like, "Yeah, fine." I mean, it makes it's a bit weird, because sometimes you bump into someone who's getting the same coach home as you, and they always ask you, "Oh, should we sit together?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, should we?" I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay
because it's 9 hours. I want to sleep, maybe look out a window and listen to my tunes. But also, someone's going to
sit the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the conclusion I land on, is that it's like someone's going to sit next to me anyway. It might as well be someone I know.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, fine. And then we found out we were on different coaches anyway, because he was on Megabus and I was on National Express.
Oh, is National Express any better then?
It's a little better, I would say.
Yeah. How so? Is it more space?
Well, I've been on a Megabus 2 times, been on National Express loads, but with National Express, it's just generally a bit, grimier. And then also I had a really bad experience once where it turns out we were driving on National Express the whole way through to Exeter from Cornwall with a chipped windscreen. And we didn't have news of this until Exeter, where we had to switch to another coach because they were pulled over for driving with a chipped windscreen.
What the fuck?
Shit you not. And I was like, okay. I mean, that's illegal, so maybe don't do that. And also, I've got places to be. Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
So I kind of sworn off Megabus after that.
Yeah.
That and the Dara O'Brien fucking mascot staring down at me, I kind of could do without.
It is kind of terrifying.
It's very terrifying.
But I'm like, I can't take the traffic as well, because depending on like how long it takes you always hit rush hour at some point, and it gets hot and crammed.
It does. Yeah, but then as soon as I get into London, I've got like 4 trains to get home anyway.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sweatier than a pig at that point anyway.
When I get to London, it's literally just one train across the road.
I've got to find my way to Liverpool Street, from Victoria, then from Liverpool Street to my town, and then it's like a walk. It's hell. Yeah,
because I get off at Paddington, get from Paddington to the Northern Line, and that's it.
Okay, that's not too bad.
And then I'm back home.
My train I have to get from Liverpool Street is a long one. I mean, it's like
yeah, you're a little bit outside of London, aren't you?
I'm fake London. I always just say I'm from London because
it's a lot easier than like.
It's also preferable to I'm from Essex.
Yeah, very true.
That is just never.
You don't seem like you're from Essex.
No, I get that a lot. They're like, "Oh, you don't sound like you're from Essex," but all that means is I'm not drooling and going like, "Shut up." And
well, not that you sound like you're not a prick.
Oh, well, that's nice too. Yeah,
I've met.
I'm
not saying everyone from Essex is a prick.
Dom is from Essex.
Dom is in Essex.
Is a prick.
He's a lovely fella.
He's a lovely dude.
Just like my interactions with people from Essex and like like pretty bad until I met. It's
a weird like place in the country because it's like it's London for people who couldn't actually ever afford London, which means you get the absolute dregs. I mean, I live there. I've got a soft spot for it. So, I defend it more than, say, the next guy would. But even I think it's pretty gross, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with a lot of places around London. Though. Yeah. My end's kind of a little gross as well.
Yeah, there's gross areas everywhere. I mean, if you live there, if you live there, you've been there long enough to see the gross bits. And so without a doubt, there's a bit of grime here.
Yeah, you know where to avoid.
Yeah, you know where not to go, basically. which is a lot of places near me.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, my only train into London, well, my underground train is like in a real dodgy area. Like some people get stabbed there often.
Shit.
Yeah, but it's not too bad.
I mean, God, the knife crime. I know this isn't like what this podcast is about.
Well, we've gone like way off topic.
We have. But knife crime, my God, it's gotten actually out of hand. I know that sounds really.
It's fucking terrible.
It's actually really
so
bad. And it's like the word. I don't want to use the word laughable because obviously the last thing that's funny is knife crime.
He's getting stabbed.
But the sheer amount of it. It's like the gun problem that America have.
It's a fucking epidemic.
We seem to have the problem with knives. And I remember once being so curious. I was like, would it hurt more to be shot or to be stabbed? And I googled it and I've read into it.
Stabbed.
And I reckon stabbed as well. I would much rather get shot.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can outrun a knife.
It's true.
You can't outrun.
You can outrun the person holding the knife.
Yeah.
I don't know what Call of Duty.
That's
Tommy
why I don't
Hawkins
get people
skills
do.
he might have.
Though. I mean, maybe because I haven't been mugged with a knife before.
No.
But I'd just run away. Like as soon as I saw a guy with me, near me, I'd probably just fucking peg it.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't gonna mug me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing though, is that being around such horror, getting back to writing, I find it helpful. Because one of the things that, when you're writing, is actually really interesting to do, is do horrible shit. Really awful shit, to people, to your characters. Like, in this Arsewipe thing, I was really precise about the murder scene when I wrote it. And because I've watched a lot of Fargo and Breaking Bad, and like I say, I'm morbidly curious anyway, I was like, I'm going to get real dark with it. And so he uses a statuette, which, is so EastEnders, I know, but that's my influence. That's my upbringing. Just walloping someone with a little statuette that just happens to be a nearby object kind of thing.
Fucking hit him with his golden glove.
Yeah, exactly, like that. I swear that's like a skit.
That happened in The Simpsons, didn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, some kind of sketch in it. Maybe it's Mr. Burns.
Maybe
something to do with him.
I remember a show where someone got killed by a fucking golden glove.
Yeah, something like that.
An award.
Yes, and what's nice is that I did this thing. You're gonna love this.
Mm-hmm.
When he kills the son-in-law, his blood gets on the puzzle on the jigsaw puzzle on the dining room table, and it's just this panning shot of the blood on the puzzle, and it's like saying that the puzzle is now tainted. The case is tainted with the blood of. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're doing. Yeah.
It's stuff like that it's so cheesy and so dumb, and it's like, oh, maybe they'll get it, maybe they won't. But because you get it, you love it.
Yeah, you get really attached to stuff like that. Yeah,
because you get it and you wrote it, you're like, this is genius.
This is a fucking gold mine.
But then, obviously, I'll say it now. It's a great idea to get away from that. Don't be too attached. Obviously, I'm directing this year for uni, and one thing I've had to do is not be attached and detach.
That's the thing a lot of people gotta learn. Especially, I've noticed, throughout being at uni, a lot of people get very attached and very fucking
I don't want to
with their stories.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to look at my script. I don't want anyone to tell me.
Don't tell me this is wrong.
But you yourself know when it's time for a change in the writing, because you lose grip on it, which is what happened to me. I mean, I'm directing with Matt, who maybe you'll see one day.
Hopefully, he wants to come on.
Yeah, but we're directing a film called Game Kid this year, which is a hilarious pun on Game Boy, and it's about this kid who's moving away, and he's distracting himself from moving away by playing his old Game Boy. And the initial script for it that we pitched, which the pitch was
it has changed quite a lot.
It's changed a lot, yeah. And we have Derek Hayes to thank for that. I could start rattling off things that Derek's worked on, but I don't know. The one with Jesus in it. Stop motion Jesus. Anyway.
Oh shit, yeah.
Don't know the name of it, but we worked on
I don't know. Stop motion. If you can find an oldish stop motion film, he's probably worked on it.
Yeah. Derek is one of our lecturers here at Falmouth, and he's great. He's basically the guy you go to for if you got a story.
Honestly, I probably should go to him. But
yeah,
I really haven't. Because
people are kind of scared of him a bit. They don't want to go there because he will change it.
Yeah. For the better or for the worse.
Yeah, for us it was for the better. We were super happy with the changes he suggested.
Yeah, very true. I feel like you got more of a grip now on your narrative. And there's a
Well, I mean, what it was, we requested his meet with Derek, and we had to pitch it to him. And the one thing that these lecturers that we have do, or the one thing I should say they don't do, is they don't read your script. So here I am. I've got a 9-page script that I printed off. Cost me £2 or whatever, which I want that back, by the way. And then I'm
Get
like,
fucking reimbursed.
yeah, and then I'm like, there you go. And he doesn't look at it. He puts it down. And I'm like, okay, that's not being read. That's not being read in this meeting. That's fine.
No, that's not gonna
and it's a good thing he doesn't too, because if he reads it, he starts to get attached and he starts to suggest things within what I've already wrote.
Yes.
But because he hasn't read the script, he doesn't necessarily want to suggest things within that pre-existing world.
Oh, so is that how he was?
Yeah,
he
so
managed
that's why
to, like, change.
why it changed as drastically as it did. Because if he had read it, he would have started suggesting things that required at least work on our half to change.
Oh,
So
that's
things
an
like
interesting way of doing it. I
yeah,
like that.
because it's like, if I had given him the script, he would have read it and he would have been like, oh well, I don't want to send you away and have to change all these things and lose certain characters and lose sets and lose this and that. So I'll give you suggestions that might embellish what you've already written and make it better, but without actually really changing it. Which is what I wanted the meeting to be about. Is about really changing it, because we went in and we were unable to explain our own idea, which is miraculous that it got through on that basis.
I mean, I feel like you got through on that Club Penguin dance.
Yeah, that alone. Matt animated our character doing the Club Penguin dance.
What was it?
Which, if you're ever pitching a film, have a Club Penguin dance in there. 'Cause apparently that
it's
works.
fucking gold for us, like Generation Z or like Millennial.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck we are, to be honest.
We're bad, awful. We're the bad ones.
We're the worst.
We're like the beginning of the end.
We
I think.
call fucking old people boomers, and that's how we get by.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Boomer humor is great.
Humor. Yeah, but that is really good. You guys managed to.
Yeah.
Because I had a read over your script.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like,
you were one of the first people to read the initial
early
script.
on.
Yeah.
And I was a bit.
It was convoluted.
It was convoluted.
It's convoluted.
But very like I've been told mine's kind of been a bit on rails. If you get what I mean. It's like he kind of has challenges, but it's kind of like streamlined.
Yeah.
But you need to add those. You have to look back and add those things he has to overcome. Stuff he has to build from and learn from.
Yeah.
In order to have like a satisfying story.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I feel like yours kind of had that same kind of general.
Yeah,
vibe as
ours
well.
was bogged down in its style, I think, and still is a bit. Well, I don't want to use the term bogged down because it is a stylistic piece where it's split screen.
Yeah.
We've got 3D and 2D going on.
I feel like there's so much you can do with that split screen.
Yeah,
like, especially with like when you add in sound design. Like, you can really have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Be creative.
Yeah, we didn't realise that until we had an animatic screening the other day, and our executive producer, which is, wow, a scary term.
Ooh, executive producer.
But Rosa, who's our executive producer, was like, oh, so you've played with sound now, have you? Because we whipped up a scratch track, which is all sort of video gaming noise. A lot of Zelda, a lot of Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I know, everyone was loving it.
It was great. We have, we obviously can't use those sounds, but for purposes of this, we did. But it's going to be a lot of fun to decide when are we hearing the real world and when are we hearing the game world, and how it ebbs and flows to and fro each one.
Sounds very fun to play with when you're making a film. Because in our film, when he's in reality, all you hear is Foley.
Okay.
So like the beginning, because we've added in, I don't know if you know, but I've added in a funeral scene to our film at the beginning.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there was a whole thing about is that clear and stuff.
A brief thing about mine is about a kid dealing with the loss of his sister, and it starts off like with him in the graveyard and then him going home, and like in those until he enters the woods, like in the middle part, or like just before the middle part, it's all Foley.
Okay.
So like the overwhelming sounds of like the weight going on in his home, but when he enters the forest, the music starts playing.
Okay.
And like as he goes through the forest and as he like gets to the calf, like it's all Foley. But then at the end, at the match cut where we see the sisters dead, it goes back to just Foley again.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. That's gonna be a really nice
because it's a way to separate. From reality.
It's also going from like mystical and where are we to we know where we are, because Foley is such a visceral, and you notice when you do scratch tracks and you're like this tried and true trick with scratch tracks is to slap cars passing on, slap bird song on,
100%.
slap it down to 20% volume, and it's like barely there, but it's there.
It's
you
there.
know what I mean? And it just makes
the subtleties of it.
Just makes it feel like it's in a world.
Yeah, it makes it lived in.
Yeah, it's nice. Which is something people are gonna do when they do their actual audio anyway.
Yeah,
because it just makes it feel real and layered. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know what you mean. That's kind of like in our film, because we've got this thing, which is quite a nice writing trick that we've done, which is that it like goes from full aspect ratio 1920 to 1080.
Okay.
As soon as he gets the Game Boy, rediscovers it because he's unpacking. finds it's split screen. For the whole thing, it's him distracting himself. We're seeing what's going on in real life, but also how he's distracting himself in the game. And then when he finally decides to hit new game, because that's the whole thing in it, it's, am I going to hit continue and keep playing the same game, which is, you know, his old house, his old life, or am I going to hit new game and accept the move? Yeah. Which is what he does at the end. It goes back to 1920.
I think that's a good metaphor as well.
Yeah, I like visually what that's saying.
Especially with our generation that grew up with that kind of technology, I think it would hit home for people.
And also, it's interesting the amount of people we got a big crew behind us. My producer Robin is great.
Especially now you split the you got 2D and 3D.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, which is the whole thing. It was pitched as 2D because me and Matt are 2D people. It is now 3D. We've got Jack on board. It's great. It's fun. But yeah, the crew is, you know, so big and it's scary having the prospect of directing them all. But what's great about it is that they all have actual experiences of moving, which I don't. I've never. The only move I've ever made in my life is here, which I don't consider really a move.
I don't see it as a move either
because it wasn't you know, loading all my stuff into the car, getting a removals van, and waving goodbye. It was, you know, I still go back home, and the home that I go back to is the home that I grew up in and always have. I've never moved, but Robin, my producer, has. Faye, like concept art lead, has. And they always are coming up to me and it's like, I like this bit in the script because that's exactly what moving is like. That me and Matt have apparently accidentally captured. Because we've never moved. We're in no authority at all to make a film about moving. And yet we're the ones doing it.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. But it's stuff like, the stuff they like is that throughout the film they eat takeout. They don't cook. And Robin was like, yeah, I did that. I've moved like 7 times and we always ate takeout because we packed up everything in the kitchen so we couldn't cook. It's just stuff like that, little tiny embellishments in the story that are like real and grounded and people can get behind.
People can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also. Did you do any research into it, or was this just stuff you know?
I regret to confess I didn't. Into the moving side of it, we did no research. We were just like, it's moving. How hard can it be? There's boxes, a for sale sign, which, you know what? That's one more thing, isn't it? You can attest to this. One of the feedbacks we got in the animatic recently was our lecturer saying, it's not really clear that they're moving from the animatic. And I was like, shit, it's not. And then they were like, really simple way you can do that. Establishing shot of the house, someone's hammering in a for sale sign. It's like, how did we not get that?
That little simple
How did it never occur to me to put a for sale sign outside the house? Yeah.
Fuck.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the little bits you sometimes just miss out on.
Yeah.
Because like you could write a whole film about like fucking moving and then forget to have a sale sign.
Yeah, just forgets just a tiny bit that makes it ultra clear. Because especially when making short movies, if it's a 3-minute film, you haven't got the time to set up, or the parents are arguing and they're packing. You need to do it in the snappiest way possible. And how can you do that? For sale sign outside the house, establishing shot. Done.
That's the thing with the films we're writing for, because it's 3 minutes. You got to fit your topic, a full story, into this 3 minutes. So you really got to use the medium we have to like tell as much of the story as possible. Yeah, like visually, and like clarity is something I've found quite difficult to like get it across to people.
Yeah, it's diving in the deep end of film making and film writing, because what's nice about Arswipe, I love saying it, I just love saying it, is that I'm writing it to be as long as it needs to be, which is a really nice freedom to have, especially when on the course I'm constantly shackled to 3 minutes. Because, you know, the lecturers even tell us, they keep saying, writing something that's 3 minutes long is much harder than writing something that you can have all the time in the world on.
100%.
Because you have to cram more in, you have to set things up in snappier, like smarter ways.
You have that time to build up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, majority of short films are around 10 minutes long. We have to condense that down even more. Yeah. I mean, like, I've done a lot of research, and a majority of them are like 10 minutes. Yeah. It's crazy having to fit.
Those are the kinds of short films I like stumbling upon, the 10-minute ones. There's this one, maybe I'm going to plug this. It's a really old one, and it's online. It's on YouTube. I don't know if you'd be able to find it, but I stumbled upon it by complete accident, and I loved it.
What's it called?
Called Gustav's Brush.
Gustav's Brush?
Gustav's Brush, yeah. And it's this, you can tell it's old because the quality of it ain't that great, but it's, as in the actual video, the quality of the story, I think is great. It's about this artist who's lost his wife recently, and I believe he's the next door neighbor, which is a dynamic you can tell I like. I like the next door neighbor dynamic. It's such a weird relationship that humans have, and it's a really interesting one to write about. I can tell stories out of the wazoo about next door neighbors I've had in my life.
Yeah, same. We've had some dodgy neighbors.
Gustav's Brush though, find it, watch it. This kid, he ends up in this this really like quite beautiful relationship with Gustav, who's the old man next door, because his mum sends him over there when she goes out to basically be babysat by him.
Okay.
And they have this relationship. He starts teaching the kid to paint, and they just start bonding over like the fact that he's depressed, the fact that it becomes clear he's suicidal. And the acting in it is really nice, the story is really nice. And yeah, I just like the way that it's simple and it knows the story it wants to tell. It knows the relationship between the characters. It's like next door neighbor, kid who's like, a kid. That's it. I really like stories that know how good a setup they have. And they don't get wild with it. They're just like, next door neighbor, that's an interesting human relationship that is rarely explored.
Because you could take a simple thing and like really expand upon it.
Yeah.
Because
you can do it too much though.
There's a short film, I think it won an Oscar a couple of years ago.
I think it won an Oscar, damn.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a guy with a stutter. It might be called Stutter.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, the whole film is about him trying to, because he's like super embarrassed about his stutter. He can barely speak. It's about him because he's like on an online relationship with this
I was going to say, when you said an Oscar, it's not the King's Speech, is it?
No. But he has a relationship online. He's like been messaging this girl on a dating app online.
Oh, okay.
Like through text. No,
so
through typing and stuff.
It's not stuttering on the text, is it?
No. But she doesn't know he has a stutter.
Okay.
So, and then she comes to London and she was like, do you want to meet up?
Yeah.
And he like has a panic, and it's about him trying to overcome this fear of his stutter.
Yeah.
In order to like move on and have this relationship.
Yeah.
And it builds it up so nicely, of like him like having genuine anxiety and like fear about this.
Yeah.
And then the payoff is really good as well, because he gets to the. This is a spoiler for the end of it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but he gets to the pub where they're meeting her.
Okay.
And he sees her from across the road.
Yeah.
And you see her do sign language because she's deaf.
Oh, beautiful!
And it's like you just see him smile, and then it cuts.
That is nice.
It's just like such a like nice ending, like wraps up this really like.
I love punchy endings like that. One thing that we kept getting recommendations to do from people within the crew and from the lecturers with Game Kid is to have, when he moves away at the end, to have him to let the audience see the new house and let him see his new room and his new life, the life that he's now going to have. But
I don't think you need that.
I agree absolutely wholeheartedly, because all that's doing, and that's epilogue. That's not ending. That's epilogue.
You could show that in the credits, like in the credits, you just have like screenshots of him running into the new home.
You could, yeah. And that's what but I don't know if you know the show. Is it 6 Feet Under? Do you know
6 Feet Under?
Yeah. So the ending to that, I haven't watched 6 Feet Under, but I am familiar with the ending because I had a friend from secondary school who found the ending to that show so funny. And we laughed about it all the time, because the ending is just epilogue after epilogue after. It's needlessly epilogue-y.
Yeah.
Because it's like, here are these characters. We're now going to jump 20 years into the future to show you how their life ends.
Yeah, that really annoys me.
If it's not relevant to the story that you just told me, why are you showing me it?
That reminds me of like
20 years later.
Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption 2?
No, I've watched Louis play it.
Well, basically, you get to the end, like the main ending happens. And then you're just like a farmhand for like half an hour, like you're a farmhand for like
that's
a couple hours of gameplay. Literally, you build a house. It's like a house building montage. You're literally farming on this farm.
Wow. Playing
as the guy from the original Red Dead Redemption
until
Farmville. Eventually, like you get the redemption like fucking hours later after you've fucking done all this like menial work.
You gotta get
and it's just like, why am I doing this?
Half an hour. I mean, that's like
I just want to be a cowboy and kill shit.
I feel like that's Endgame. That's what Endgame did at the start, where it was like, look how slow and a slog this movie is, and it's like right at the ending, you're like, okay, well, it was worth it. But you do need a slow up to. It was a very
slow burn.
Yeah,
but it's like you get to a point where it's a bit too much.
Yeah, a slow burn is all things in moderation, including that in your storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, because what does like the epilogue well is Parks and Recreation.
Oh, I've not seen that, but I imagine they do. My brother's super into it.
Because their final season is basically like, I think it's like 5 years in the future.
Oh, okay.
Like some stuff's happened, but the way they get around it and wrapping up these characters' stories is just so well, so well done. Because you have the original, like them 5 years later, and then it's like in like the final episodes, you have like a cut to them in the future and what they're doing with their lives now, and it's just like such a like a warm a nice warm way of finishing a show.
I like an epilogue when it's kind of like just a musical montage and it's like, you know, look at what they're doing. But when it gets long and it becomes, you know, a thing, that's when I'm like, what's happening? Kind of thing. Yeah, I just get a bit too epilogue-y.
Too epilogue-y.
Which is definitely the 6 Feet Under angle for me.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's been a while since I've seen 6 Feet Under, but I could totally see that as a thing.
I've never seen it, and because of the ending, I don't think I will.
I mean, I feel like that's the thing with a lot of shows, though.
Yeah.
A lot of shows go on for way too long.
Yeah, they do.
They need to figure out like when to end because it will just ruin. Like my thing with Community, it should have ended after season 3.
Okay.
When like they should have graduated.
Yeah, Community had a whole.
Not only because the shenanigans that happened 4, 5, and 6, because there's some really good episodes in those seasons.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's a completely different show after that point.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I feel like it's like,
I remember being really unnecessary. I remember watching Community, and because I didn't watch it kind of as and when they were coming out, I was binging it with Elena, and I was like, it's so it's so different. It's too different. It's not what I've watched up to the point.
It's not the original show.
It's just sort of misleading. It's not misleading because it is Community, and you know. You have the context of why it's changed in the way it has. Yeah. But, you know, stuff like I forgot the character that you played, but Chevy Chase's character.
Yeah. Pierce Hawthorne.
The fact that he was like not there anymore, and yeah, there were little jokes about it, but it was kind of like,
especially when Donald Glover left as well.
Yeah. Because
like the whole dynamic with like Pierce in the group. Yeah. I feel like was a kind of like a crucial like thing to have.
Yeah.
And, like when they got rid of him and started adding new characters.
Because they brought in Jonathan Banks. Who I love.
Yeah, he's
Jonathan
great.
Banks is incredible, and he's in Better Call Saul, he's in Breaking Bad, he's in this.
He's a really
I was so surprised to see him in Community, but I was so happy to see him in Community.
Yeah,
and when it worked,
I just don't think he fit.
No, I quite liked the D&D episode. With
with
David Cross.
Yeah, there's still gold episodes in those seasons. It just doesn't feel like what the show was.
And also, the D&D episode is something that had been done before. They were revisiting that.
Yeah, and they did a kind of like a spy like paintball episode as well.
Yeah,
they did bring back some of the old episodes, but like with a new.
It's just a sort of if it ain't broke, do it again. Mentality,
which is pretty bad to be honest.
Yeah, it's what my entire dissertation is about. It's like when should things end? Probably 2 years ago. You know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm always worried about if I'm gonna have a show, because I've always imagined Halls to be like 3 seasons. Yeah, that it would be them at uni. And that would be it. And then it would end
with the graduation.
Yeah.
Or if maybe they don't graduate, you know.
Yeah, whoever graduates, because it would have like people in season 1 would be the first year, and like you would see people drop out. Like people would just disappear, and everyone like a couple episodes.
I mean,
you
know,
where did these people go?
It's
like, they dropped out.
That's what's happened in our actual university experience.
Yeah, that's what happens at university.
It is just 3 seasons because it's like the first season. This is such a thing. I've done this before where I've referred to days in my life as episodes, and that goes to show how much TV and film I watch, which is too much. But yeah, it is like that. It's like year 1, year 2, year 3, and they're each like seasons with like events. Because it's
themes. Like you can see the character growth as well. It's weird to say about actual people. But you can. I've seen people like just develop a bit more.
Totally, and if you look at pictures of people, they've physically changed.
Physically
as well.
grown.
I mean, I look at pictures of Jack and he hasn't got a beard. I'm like, who's this gremlin? It's not him.
Yeah, it's like everyone looks so different. I mean, I still look pretty young.
You're one of the people who
look like a baby.
Yeah, you're one of the people who look the most the same. Yeah. I would say the most thing that's changed with you visually from year 1 is that you dress different.
Do I? I feel like I dress pretty much the same.
I say you dress a little different.
Yeah?
Just
like how so?
Well, the hat appears less.
Oh, it's not there.
Oh, this. Okay, so this. There was a time in my life when I known Alex, first and second year of uni. I never saw his hair. I just saw that. Always.
Yeah, I've kind of stopped wearing hats. I wear them occasionally.
You've quite literally hung the hat up.
Yeah.
You've hung up your hat.
I'm moving on. It's a part of my life I didn't need anymore.
Growing up. I like that. Literally hanging that hat up. That's a good,
it's a good metaphor, isn't it?
It's good, yeah.
It's almost like I'm a writer,
Almost like you wrote this part of your life. It's quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I could totally see an entire show based on like shit that's happened just like in my experience in university.
And it's like it's a weird thing because that's something that a lot of people have done. People who are interested in writing independent stories, they're always like, oh, well, I'll write what I know. I'll write about me and my friends. And then it's like, you get into writing it and you're excited and happy doing it. And then, I don't know if you've got to this point, but when you get like, oh, no one's going to care though, because it's only me. It's just, who am I? I'm not like I'm writing a biopic about someone that people know and they like.
Yeah.
I'm writing about people who don't know and are just my friends, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But there's evidence out there that it works. People, you know, all the greatest ideas and stuff have to come from somewhere. Might be a weird example. If you look at like Seth Rogen and James Franco, they're friends in real life.
I mean, they met each other on the set of Freaks and Geeks, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Freaks and Geeks was the 80s, ages ago.
Like you've seen like celebrities great as well. You know, Jonah Hill. He's gone from that funny guy to writing and directing movies.
Super serious stuff. Michael Cera as well. And you know, they were friends and they were just making dumb movies together.
That's what kind of gives me hope about like I'll be able to actually make what I want to do.
Yeah.
But you guys, the thing is with them, they actually went out and did it, and that's what got them recognition.
And obviously now that they are Seth Rogen and James Franco, it's so easy to say because they can make any old crap.
Yeah, they can do anything and people go watch it just because.
I mean, I'm big fans of them, and I don't think they've made a bad movie yet because I love the stupidity of Seth Rogen and James Franco movies.
They've got a bit in a bad. They've made so many good movies, but I can't.
But there are handfuls.
Yeah.
You know, but there's this really beautiful moment in it's the dumbest movie I think they've ever made and appeared in. This Is the End. Have you seen it?
Oh fuck yeah! I got a
dumb
Blu-ray, dude.
movie.
It's fucking hilarious.
A hilarious movie, stupid as hell in concept.
They literally were just like, let's kill off a bunch of celebrities.
But in a way, it was genius because it was like The Rapture. We're gonna do The Rapture, but a comedy about us, like Hollywood actors playing themselves at a James Franco, Seth Rogen house party.
It's so good.
It's if anyone who happens to stumble upon this podcast and hasn't watched This Is the End, watch This Is the End.
I know some people that fucking hate This Is the End.
I know. I watched it with Elena and Louise. Didn't like it.
No, a lot of
I think they did.
But
they did. I think Louise was a bit disappointed and thought it was going to be a bit more, super bad than it was.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
That is the thing when you're that big. People want it to be kind of like your other works.
But there's a beautiful moment in it where maybe you'll remember it, where they're holed up in the house, and obviously the concept is that they're holed up in James Franco's house, and it's the apocalypse, and they're like trying to get food, trying to get water, but for the most part they're just hanging about, being stupid and not really surviving very well.
Yeah.
And one of the things they do is they just get the fucking camera out and they start recording an in-house version of a Pineapple Express sequel.
Yeah, it's like they get fucking high as fuck,
and it's like Danny McBride. It's all the characters from the movie because they're all in the same house together, and they just start, and it's them. Like in scrappy, torn up clothing, playing like versions, and they're very clearly dressed as the characters from Pineapple Express, but just in the most minimal way that you can tell.
It's just like they probably had so much fun filming that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that you come out of that movie and you think, bad movie. They had a blast making it. You can tell.
It's like even if it's people don't like it, I would enjoy it just because it looked like so. It
looked like they
were
just enjoying themselves.
How fucking weird can we make this?
It's so good, and my god, Craig Robinson in that movie. I love Craig Robinson in that movie. He's so good. His scene where he is like taken up in the beam. Yeah, he's like fuck yes, and he's so happy. It genuinely is so dumb, but it's like actually quite moving. It's like it's
fuck yeah.
He's so pleased to be actually accepted into heaven, and of course it ends with a fucking Backstreet Boys. Back.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's fucking gold. It's pure gold.
But that's the kind of thing, is that if they, because you know the reason they got to make This Is the End is that's the dynamic that people like. It's friends making friend shit.
Friends making like,
which is what something like Halls could be, because it is, you're writing about friends. You're possibly basing the characters on your friends.
Yeah, to be honest, it's like
you might even cast them if any of us go into acting.
That's the thing. Like it's like so doable. I feel like you can just like get a bare bones crew of like people we know.
Yeah.
Just make and like get a couple actors and make it.
Yeah, totally. It'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be like, who would you cast me as? Yeah, it'd be fun. Because I'm in it, obviously.
Oh yeah, fucking 100%, man. Cool. Don't worry about it.
Just checking. Yeah, I look forward to like reading or seeing it. It looks good. It sounds cool. I love the concept. It's like a tried and true concept.
Yeah, I just gotta get. I gotta
one
get
that
past
Britain hasn't done yet.
The character phase. And once I start writing, it'll be fucking gold.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes.
Damn, I made the cut. You made
it.
I
I think this might be the longest episode. I can't remember how long Greg's was, but
yeah, I watched them earlier. I don't know. I think Scott's was the longest.
It could have been Scott's. Yeah, we did talk with Scott for a while.
I didn't get to finish Scott's yet. I'll go back and finish it afterwards.
But fuck, this has been a really good conversation, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad nothing sexual happened because the setup very much implied.
Implies a porno, but don't worry. That's for later.
Recently, didn't someone say that your title aided the set quite well?
Oh shit, I didn't even realise that. Oh my god, that's perfect.
But keep the title.
Oh no, I like the title. I think it works pretty good.
And there's no sucking going on, so it's fine.
Ah, there's plenty of sucking. You just don't see it.
It's in the bloopers.
It's in the gag reel, eh?
Oh, that's a great end zinger.
All right, fine. Yeah, right. Do you want to plug anything? You want to plug your Instagram for your
I have an Instagram.
Yeah.
Your Game Kid Film on Instagram. That's the film we're making. I got a post on that, which I'll do. And then you want to find me on Painter Pun, which is my art account. And then from there, you'll find my personal one, which has all kinds of gross crap on it.
If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description anyway.
There you go.
Oh,
Would they be listening anywhere else?
It's actually this one is probably going to be the last one that's going to be on iTunes.
iTunes.
Yeah, dude.
I've made the iTunes cut.
Yeah, because I'm on the free end of the software I'm using.
Okay.
So this is the last. I have 5 hours free.
Okay.
Until I have to pay for it. So
right.
this is the last out of free.
I'm honoured.
Yeah. Good job, man. You made the cut.
Awesome.
All right. Fuck. Well, thank you for watching. If you made it this far.
Yes.
If you have any feedback, let me know. Chuck a message down in the comments.
Chucka, I love this podcast. Best podcast ever.
Best podcast ever.
Thank you, Scott.
But yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Oh, nice.
Nice.